welcome back to my channel. I'm participating in Kendra's card challenge number 8. This is a giveaway video hop. There are prizes available. If you head over to Kendra's channel, she will have a list of all of the sponsors and prizes, and she'll be talking about this in a little bit more detail. In order to qualify, you do need to stop at each channel in the hop, leave a comment, and like the video, and then the winners will be announced over on Kendra's channel after October 9th. I am going to be participating by presenting you with one of the card sketches. This challenge features 6x6 pattern paper. Kendra has designed templates for 6 pieces of 6x6 pattern paper. When you cut that paper down, you will have enough supplies for you to create 17 cards. So we are presenting the 17 card sketches, which means I think there's 15 participants. There may be a couple that might have 2 cards in their video. Mine happens to have sketch number 6. In order to participate in the challenge for more prizes, more opportunities to win prizes, all you need to do is create the 17 cards, head over to Kendra's Facebook group, upload your photo, and that is your entry. Here's a look at my sketch. As you can see, it's a fairly simple sketch. I was super excited about this because it was easy for me to create a design for this. Here's the products that I'm using. I have the Jack-o'-lantern witch from CottageCutz. I also have this 12x12 vintage paper pad. I did mention that the template is for 6x6 pattern paper, but you certainly can cut this 12x12 paper down into 6-inch squared pieces. Use 6 of them, and you could use those as your pattern paper. I wanted to use this because I was going for more of a vintage look. I did have a 2 3/4 inch scalloped square that I'm going to be using, which is going to meet the criteria for this sketch. I cut down my pattern paper. That first piece is cut to 4 by 5 1/4. I need the 2 strips that are going to go underneath this in the sketch. So the first one is going to be the layering piece, and you can see there's kind of like a little bit of a notebook edge. I liked that detail. I cut it the wrong dimension. I actually cut it to 1 by 4 inches, but I'm going to remedy that in just a moment. So here is that scallop. I cut one out of a darker piece of cardstock. I didn't like it, so I went ahead and cut it a second time out of a lighter piece. You can see that darker piece over to the right. I colored up my images off screen, so I put together the pieces from the Jack-o'-lantern witch, and as I was building it, it seemed that that piece to the right was just a little bit too busy. So I cut down the piece of notebook strip that I had. I needed to be 3/4 by 4 inches, and then this is going to be a layer underneath it that needed to be cut to 1 inch by 4 inches. So I am following the sketch to a T. It's going to be the same orientation. You are more than welcome to turn the sketch and use it in a different orientation, upside down, to the left or the right, however you would like to use it. All of the pieces that you cut from the template that Kendra provides will allow you the opportunity to change up the look of your design just a little bit. I did color up that layering piece to be with saltwater taffy, excuse me. And I chose that color because I thought that it went well with the paper that I was using. It was also the color that I happened to color the scarf of the kitty cat that's going to be a part of my design. And then I'll just layer those 2 pieces together. I added a little bit of ground espresso around the edges, and this is just adding to that vintage feel of this card. I don't know about you, but I have a ton of pattern paper in my stash. I tend to hoard it just a little bit. So these challenges are perfect to help you use up some of your pattern paper. I also think that it's a bright idea, especially at this time of year, for somebody to be able to put together their Christmas cards. You could certainly use pattern paper that is Christmas related, and you could get 17 cards out of 6 pieces of the pattern paper. Or I think it would be really neat to do a couple of these and create all occasion cards, maybe birthday cards, anniversary cards, and get well soon, sympathy cards, things like that, and then bundle them together and give them away as Christmas gifts. So if you're looking for Christmas gift ideas and you would like a way to, utilize the cards from this challenge, I think that that would be a fabulous way to do that as well. All of the cards in this challenge are A2 size cards, so I've created an A2 size card base, and that is what is going to be the background for this pattern paper. So I do have that nice 1/4 inch border all the way around. This card panel is an A2, as I mentioned, top folding, and I like the color of it. It's kind of like a rusty rose, and it really just blended well with the oranges and the pinks and the other colors that were in this pattern paper. I want my sentiment to stand out because I do have that notebook edge to this layering piece. I wanted to make sure that my sentiment stood out, so I've treated the paper, or I'm going to treat the paper with my anti-static tool, and I'm going to use some VersaFine Black Onyx ink, and I'm going to do some heat embossing for my sentiment. This sentiment comes from a Brutus Monroe stamp set that came out last year. It was called Spooky Kids. The sentiment reads, too cute to spook. I tend to go for more cutesy looking cards for Halloween rather than spooky ones, although I do enjoy seeing everybody else's spooky cards. I just have young nieces and grandchildren, and so I thought that going with more of a cutesy look fit their age bracket than some of the scarier ones. I'm going to add that clear embossing powder to the spider as well to give him a little bit of a shine. And once I heat set this, I'm going to start laying out the outline for my card. So I'm going to add some adhesive, and I'm going to center this onto that card base. Isn't that pattern paper really pretty? I like the vintage feel of this Halloween card. I thought that it was something just a little bit different. I like to do ink blending, but the pattern paper really does lend a different feel to a Halloween card. I added the hat to my jack-o'-lantern, and then I'm going to add my strip. Now I add my strip a little bit higher than the sketch, and that's okay. You can use that sketch as a jumping off point. You definitely don't want to change the sketch completely, but you can change the orientation, as I mentioned before, which way the card panel is going to go, and that is again going to change the feel of the card. Here's that spider web. I may have mentioned I cut that spider web. There's an element on the sketch that has a shape. I had to think of the word. Sorry about that. A shape in the upper right hand side of that square, so I thought the spider web lent itself really well to the style of the card. I'm going to add foam tape to the back of this cat in a double layer because I did add foam tape to the back of my jack-o'-lantern. This is going to allow it to sit up a little bit over the top. It just hangs over a very slight little bit, but I wanted it to be a little bit taller than my jack-o'-lantern. For me, dimension is everything. I love foam tape, so I use it quite frequently on my cards. I'll add my spider to the web, and I will glue down my broom. Once I glue down my broom, I feel like there's still something missing from my background. So I'm going to pull out another off camera, another CottageCutz die. It's a haunted house that has a ghost. And I'm going to add some I think it's like a C1 around the edges of the ghost, just to give it a little bit of a pop off the page. I'll add a little bit of foam tape to the back of him, and I'll have him peeking out from behind the jack-o'-lantern. So once I get these pieces down, I'll glue that broomstick down, and you'll see that there's an open space to the left of the jack-o'-lantern and above the cat. And you're going to see just how adding one more piece to this composition really helps fill everything out. I will show you a close-up of the card, sharing some of the dimensions so you get a better look at that, and that will complete my interpretation of the template number 6. I want to thank you so much for joining me today. Please make sure that you head over to Kendra's channel if you haven't already to see the introduction video, to get more information on the giveaway, the challenge, see the templates. I will have some of that information in the description box below if you want to check that out. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, I would love for you to subscribe and ring the bell so that you're notified whenever I upload a new video. Thank you so much for taking time to watch today. Make sure that you head over to the next person in the hop. As I mentioned, that is also linked in the description box below. Until next time, I hope you have a fabulous day. Thanks for hopping with us.